everybody? Welcome back. Devin, the original Grognard. Grognard's Corner. Grognard's Computer Corner this time. Here we are back. We're going to do our continuing playthrough of Tigers on the Balcony scenario from Panther Line from the Advanced Brook system. And since this is a live stream, you're going to have to forgive me as I set this up real quick to make sure that I get the word out to everybody. And I don't know how Kevin does this as I set this up real quick. I keep forgetting that when I talk, it actually shows up on the live stream. Yeah, I don't know how Kevin does this, that he's able to set everything up and just start without too much of a mess. One of these days I'll figure it out, so we'll get it to the original Grognard, Advanced Brook, because you guys are usually the ones that are the most interested in watching it. There we go. All right, so and now let me go ahead and set up my tablet so I can see if and when people jump in. Oh, I hate this tablet. But it's a tablet. It's better than pretty much anything else I got, so guess I shouldn't complain too much, right? All right. Why is this? Oh, there it is. I confuse myself easily. Yes, we are actually going to get to actual gameplay this time. So there is a couple things that I did want to do that I was looking at on stupid tablet, going through the rule book on and realizing I've got this mortar, this Soviet mortar right here, this 82 millimeter that I'm going to be using for onboard indirect fire, and using this this sergeant here to spot for me. What I found out is that, let's go ahead and remove all the move markers. This mortar, since it's in a hedgehog, can actually be in the down position. Let's see if there is. Let's see, combat, visibility, full cover. It can be in the down position and full cover in the hedgehog and still be able to fire out from the hedgehog if it's got the spotter. Had I known that when I was setting everything up, I'd have gone ahead and done that anyways. So we're going to go ahead and retro that a little bit. Looking over the full cover rules, there's a lot of other stuff I could have set more of my guys in full cover. It really doesn't matter if they're up or down from full cover to be able to move through the hedgehogs. It doesn't trigger an opportunity fire. At least the full cover doesn't trigger opportunity fire when you're moving in a hedgehog. But does that work for up position? I don't remember. To move from the up to the down position, it's considered crawling movement, and that's basically your entire full move, and then you can infiltrate again. But I think part of me says I should probably move some of the guys into down, but since I really didn't do it at the beginning, still trying to get myself set up on my tablet so I can see chat. Sorry about this. One of these days I actually will learn how it's done, how Kevin does it, because he just pops up with his live stream and he's good to go and there's no issues and no problems. Oh, come on. Stupid thing. Alright, let's try going through YouTube. And my channel. Sorry. See, 3 of you guys are patiently waiting for me to start the game. But I need to have the chat up at least, so I can see what you guys are saying. There we go. All right. 3 people watching. Oh. Wait. All right. Still can't see any video on it. Hopefully, there we go. Hey, Jason, greetings from Minnesota. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you could make it. So that at least tells me that, yes, there are people in channel, people can see me, people can hear me, and you can type. So, 5 people watching now. Hey, guys, say hi, chat amongst yourselves. Not really sure how much I'm going to be able to get into the chat that's going on while I'm playing, but we're gonna see what I can do. So, anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and start off. I don't think there's any reinforcements that show up for either side on turn 1. Oh, yeah, the 2 tigers from Panzer Abteilung 502. They show up for the Germans. So we're going to go ahead and roll for initiative. Suppose I could go through the actual turn order sequence as it's supposed to be done. You'd think that'd be on the aid cards that Ray gave out to us, but it's not. So just to remind myself and set it in my mind, because we do have offboard artillery, and that is the first segment. That's always the first segment, is indirect and offboard artillery. All right, so we are doing fully engaged. This is going to be not the advanced to contact rules. I really don't like the advanced to contact rules, mostly because the impulse play is what really sets ATS apart from other systems. A couple more. Perfidious Albion, great name. Time zone difference. I'm sorry. I try to do these live streams when I can try to get as many people in as I can, but being West Coast Seattle is sometimes a little bit difficult. So we're going with fully engaged, indirect fire movement, close assault, end of turn. Blah. All right, indirect fire segment. Roll for initiative. So we're going to go ahead and roll for initiative. I'm going to go ahead and on Vassal use the 2d10 roller. Red will be Soviet, black will be German. Highest initiative goes first. Black, so Germans will get to go first. Onboard guns fire smoke. As it stands now, I do have the 80, and I was checking up on that. The 81 millimeter, as I was saying in the last video, I wasn't sure. I was fairly certain that the 81 millimeter could fire smoke rounds, but then I noticed that it's kind of got the S under the ammunition point. So yeah, it can fire smoke. Unfortunately, it can't see anybody. Because infantry can only be seen at 8 hexes if they're not moving in good cover, which pretty much everybody is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can't see anybody. Not going to be able to see anybody until somebody starts doing something. Now, if I wanted to, I could just lay down smoke at any hex in my line of sight. But doing that will reveal the 81 millimeter mortar, and we don't want to do that because we don't want to get shot at yet. I honestly probably should have taken this mortar, set it down here, and had spotters. I should have done that. I wasn't even thinking. I could still do that. I can move them down into this depression. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention last time. This darker green, this is actually a -10 depression. I don't want people thinking that this is a hill. It's not. It's an actual depression. Okay, so onboard guns fire smoke. Mortars and personnel place flares. Don't have to worry about that. Mortars can fire HE on the hit percentage table. Aircraft attacks, no aircraft on board yet. Onboard spotted and offboard indirect fire, counter battery fire. Basically, at this point, we've got nothing. I do have an observer for the German 102 millimeter artillery, or 105 millimeter artillery, but again, he can't see anything just because of the spotting rules. So yeah, that's fine. That was quick. That was easy. Indirect fire, fire and movement segment. Roll for initiative. All right, back around. Roll again. Oh, that's a red 8, black 8. So that's tied. Reroll. Soviets get to go first. Scott, hey Scott, how you doing? Jason Setley, glad to see ya. Carlos Laporte, there's a name from way back in the day that I recognize from the ATS forums. Glad you guys are all here. All right, so Soviets get to go first. Again, we're running into the same situation that we were during the indirect fire phase. Nobody can see anything. I mean, I've got this Stu H here, but it's in the woods, and I'm pretty sure that, let's see, that's good cover. Average visibility, stationary. It can be seen at 16 hexes away, but honestly, have I got anything of the Soviets got? What have they got there? They got a 57 millimeter. What's the range? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It could see him, but a 57 at that range to the front of a Stu H I don't think is going to do that good. What have I got here? I've got a 57 pointed off the other direction as well. Now, I don't think, I think the Soviets have noticed that the Germans are massing over here. So I believe they are going to go ahead and shift. What do they want to shift? Let's take a look. We know the storm's coming. We got this light machine gun here. We got these guys here. Let's go ahead and move those guys there. And this is going to be so embarrassing because I get confused between ATS and ASL so often because I play both of them quite regularly. Movement! Movement is always something I tend to forget. I think it's 5 movement points plus 1 for the leader, or 4 movement points plus 2. I get so confused with it. And I honestly, when I was thinking it, I was going to check this before. Things that I know that I'm going to be running into, I tend to try to check beforehand. So I'm not doing this, but I forgot. 356. No, that's movement class. Annoying. Apologies. 11-1. Okay. Okay, yeah, leaders add 1 movement. Movement types, crawling. Assault movement is 4 hexes. Running is 7. That's right. That's where the difference is. So let's go ahead and take these guys right here. We're going to go 1, and just because of the pancake effect, I know nobody can see them just because they're 1 hex back. So 1, I think it's 1 point to move into the hedgehog as well, to remain in the up position on the hedgehog. Yeah, I think when I move into the hedgehog, I'm automatically in the hedgehog, and then I have to crawl movement to go into the down position. So 1, 2, and the nice thing is when you're in the hedgehog, you can just follow it along and ignore the other terrain in the hex. It's not like there is much other terrain, because as we can see with all these shell holes and blasted out buildings, this hilltop's been pretty much decimated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to go ahead and stop him there. I really, really, really don't like those tiny, tiny, tiny move and fire marks. Sorry, Scott, I know you worked on this, but I wish you'd have made them a little bit bigger. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's check in real quick. Yeah. Yep. Yep, personnel assault movement is base for it. It's the running that goes up to 7 that always throws me off, because in ASL you double time, you only get 2 movement points, not 3 basically, which is what ASL's assault movement is. All right, so that's their action over. Switches over to the Germans. Now we got the decision I need to make. Do I want to start pushing with this advance here, or do I want to go with my little feint over here? Let's go with the feint first. Now I'm going to do a little something that I normally do, and I learned to do in Squad Leader, is that normally before I started playing ASL, I just moved the entire stack at once. That's a bad thing to do. What you want to do is you kind of want to put one squad out there first to try to soak up any assault fire that occurs. Now, granted, the entire platoon is not going to get, you know, the leader bonus, but honestly, at this point, yeah, I'm not thinking of assault moving very far. So, and brush, I'm fairly certain is +1. Yeah, 2 movement points to move into. So we're going to go here and move 1 there. Now, we have to see about op fire. This is the other thing I was checking earlier. Even with average conditions and personnel unit moving sight range is only 10 hexes. Average personnel 10. Yep. Excuse me, trying to get rid of the last of the allergy. So I really don't think there's much I can see. We've got this medium machine gun here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the medium machine gun can see it, and it'll be a straight shot down. So I'm going to guess this pack will see it, or the pack. PTP, not a pack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so he's a little bit out of range, which means that heavy machine gun. Ugh. Or is that a heavy machine gun too? No, that's a medium. That's a Dishka. All right, so now the Soviets need to decide if he wants to open up with that medium machine gun here. However, doing that is going to, of course, if he fires and everybody can see him, and that Stu H is probably going to want to munch on him. But if I do fire, and I know I've still, as a Soviet player, I know I've still got all these guys here that's going to be moving up. That'll leave some collateral fire. And I'm going to apologize now. I'm going to call it residual fire at some point. That's what it's called in Squad Leader. I do the same thing in ASL. I'll say, oh, yeah, collateral fire. And other guys will kind of look at me real fine. It's like, oh, yeah, right, wrong system. So, do I want to do that? Well, it's an 8 firepower. And it's assault moving. It'll leave collateral fire. You know what? Let's just do it just to make things a little bit messy. They'll go ahead and fire. So it's going to be 8 column, and they are assault moving, so dice roll modifier -1, and no cover modifiers. So it's going to be 8 column -1. So we got 7 -1 is a 6. 6 on the 8 column is a C1, which is not good to start off with. So, where is casualties? Right now, they got to make a morale test. Morale 6, -1 for the casualty, or 6, 5 for the casualties taken, -1 for the casualties taken this turn. 6, 5, 4, 5, 6 because of the morale support of the 2 squads that are directly adjacent to them. So we're looking at a 6 for morale. And we got an 8. Oh, that breaks them. Combat. Broken. And that stops their move. And we'll leave a collateral fire, which I believe I'm going to have to pull from the actual counters. Collateral fire. That's going to be a collateral fire 4 because it's half of the machine gun fire. So that is not... my tablet turned off on me. Not a good start. All right, so that was the German impulse. Not happy with that. So flips back over to the Soviet side. Now I could go ahead and blast away with the other rate of fire that I have, but I'm going to go ahead and hang on to that. You know what? I don't think the Soviets are going to do it. Let's take a look over here. Is there any other units over here we want to shift? I think we want to shift this guy. So let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he'll be done. Identity, visibility, movement state. Where's combat, visibility, movement, clone, delete, change late. Oh, probably because it's the... There we go. I was trying to give a movement state to the gun. Doesn't work too well. All right, so that's going to be the Soviets. Going to be flipped back over to the Germans. Well, the Germans already started their mess over here. And we still know they've got 1 rate of fire left. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just 9. All right, so we'll go here. Instead of moving into there where they can see me, we'll go here because I'm still out of line of sight. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll be done with him. And then we'll flip back over to the Soviets. Oops. No, I think the Soviets are good. Could always open up with this this 45. I think I've got. Have I even got line of sight? No, they're too far back. Don't pancaking effect on that hill. I can't see those guys. Soviets will pass back over to the Germans, and these guys go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they'll be done. Okay, back over to the Soviets. Nothing's changed. Soviets really don't want to do anything. Back over to the Germans. All right, so now that I know that the visibility is only 10, I could actually move this entire stack, or I could fire with a Stu H. Actually, you know what? No, I already passed, so I'm not going to do that yet. So, what do we want to do with these guys, though? Oh, yeah, let's just go 1, 2 to there. And that's as far as they're going to move. And they're still out of, even though they're moving, sight range at average is 10 hexes, so they are beyond the range of anything to see. Now the plan is, during the infiltration phase, I'll infiltrate these guys here, infiltrate this guy there, and probably pull that guy back. Yeah. Well, not that he can infiltrate on the turn that he's broken. But yeah, that's annoying. Well, maybe I should have left that leader back there so they could. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and take this leader. So this stack did that movement, and let's go ahead and take the assault off him. He is still there. All right, so back to the Soviets. So the Soviets have realized I'm being a cheeky little bastard. I could have fired. Yeah, I could have fired. Oops, oh well. But I didn't. These guys were actually in range, line of sight range. Let's see what we say. Oh, Scott, why'd you have to mention elevation adds to spotting range? I forget about that. I'm going to have to read up on that later. Sorry. Oh, maybe I can take a look at it real quick. Yeah, I don't even know where it is. So I'll take a. Thank you for reminding me, Scott. I'll take a look at that later. Where was I? Yeah. So yeah, since the Soviets see that I'm being a cheeky little bastard and going outside the line of sight, as far as I know it, I know elevation increases. All right, we'll take that into consideration next time. They're going to go ahead and fire off their second rate of fire and hit this hex again for 8, and they're still under the assault movement. I believe they're still under assault because that's what they started off as, even though they got broken during the middle of the combat or during the middle of the move. So on the 8 column, -1. Uh-oh, 1 minus 1 is a 0. It doesn't get any worse than that. Well, that's a C3. That's a dead squad. Well, this leader was going to move up to here so those guys could move back, but that's not going to happen now. All right, so back over to the Germans' turn. All right, fine. Blink, blink. He'll go ahead and move there. And back over to the Soviets. I wonder. Let's see. I think under the... Oops. Where are they? Under the counters. Yeah, they're okay. There are the big... You know, I should probably do that. Use the big actual counters instead of the itty-bitty things that are on the counters themselves. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that just because. Whoops. Helps if I don't hit the remove marker. So we're going to go there. And movement. The good thing about that is I can just clone those as needed. Alright, so we got assault move here. Oh, that is going to be the annoying thing. Oh, did I hit? No, I didn't. Okay. Alright. So instead of wasting the time to try to turn them. Yeah, all right. We'll mark the fired with the big fired. We'll mark the moved with the actual moved. And those guys actually moved. I don't know why. Yeah, I think I forgot to mark them. And those guys. Oh, I hit the remove all. That's right. Derp. The other thing is I'm still, as much as I played with Vassal, I seem to always forget where things are and accidentally hit buttons that I'm not supposed to hit. All right, so that was the Germans' turn. So it's back to the Soviets' turn. And again, the Soviets are just kind of, there's not really 2 to 18. Yeah, that's way beyond range. I should have taken that into account when I put that way back there. I think the range is going to be way. Yeah, he's only going to have range out to here, roughly. If and when he can ever see anything. All right, so flips back over to the German turn. Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and fire with that Stu H because it killed a squad and we don't want it to keep firing at me. Oh, that's an annoying rule. Scott said just to add the relative height difference to the spotting range. Ugh, I don't like that. See, I wish I'd have realized that beforehand, because now that does kind of change everything. All right, well, live and learn. Yeah, that changes a lot. That does add the spotting. That adds a massive amount of spotting. Oh, well, okay. So anyways, yeah, we got this Stu H. Now, let's go ahead. Let's hide the pieces and do line of sight, because I actually did check this out earlier, but I wanted to. Where is it? Come on. So the Stu is there. The infantry is there. Now, really the only line of sight potential clipping we have is those woods right there. And if we zoom in real tight, you can just barely see, just barely clips the artwork. So yeah, that is going to be a blocked hex. But since the machine gun is up on a higher elevation, we've got to check for blind hex creation. So we've got, let's see, blind hex creation, height difference plus 10. And let's see, height difference, blind hex creation. We got to see how far it is. So that's hex row 23. So it's 13 hexes. It's going to create 3 hexes of blind. 1, 2, 3. All right. So since it only creates 3 hexes of blind, this hex right here, the Stu, will be able to fire. So the Stu H is going to fire. Let's get out the vehicle card for the Stu H. Just firing a high explosive round because that's really all the Stu H can do. High explosive 530, so it'll hit on the 30 column. But we are, how far away? I know I just checked it out. 13 hexes away. The Stu H is a C-class weapon. Okay, so C-class weapon at 13 is going to be a 5. And the infantry are in shell holes, which is considered good cover, which is going to be +1 on the dice roll to hit. So I need a 4 to hit, and I don't think I've got a rate of fire. Nope, don't have a rate of fire with the Stu H. So we're looking at a 4. 7, miss. Oops. That would have been bad. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and clone that and drag it down. Put put that right there, but that does give me a burst on target. Is that what it's called? Yeah, burst on target. Called two different things in ASL. What is it in ASL? Aim marker or something like that, and I confuse the hell out of my ASL opponents when I say, yeah, I need to put a bot marker down. They look at me and go, what the hell's a bot marker? All right, so that's the Germans. Missed. Yeah, I think that 57 is going to go ahead and fire at the Stu H. It's got a rate of fire 2 as well. Let's go ahead and pretty sure there's nothing. Now, the line of sight might clip that. So let's go ahead and check. All right, so for slope lines, it goes down one, goes down another, goes down another. So it's a continuous slope, so there's no pancaking. Brush is only +5, so we're shooting over it, nothing there. And so it is going to be able to put the shell right into those woods with no problem. All right, what range we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we got 14 hexes. And it is an A-class weapon. Wow. Okay, A-class weapon at 14 hexes is going to be a 7. And the Stu, is there any size modifiers for the Stu? Nope, I don't think so. Well, let's see. Let's look at the card because it'll be on the card. Size is... Oh, it's a +1. So, wow, is that +1 to hit? Yes, it is. Ouch. So we're looking at 7 +1 for the size is an 8. Woods is good cover, which is, oh no, +1. Okay. So 7, 6, 5 to the dice roll. Okay, had that reversed. Saw the +1 size, thought it was a big target. It's not. It's actually a smaller target. So 7, I need a 5 to hit. So 2, all right, that's going to hit. But it's a 57 at range. Yep, let me make sure I get the right chart. All right, so we got a 57, 57A. It's going to be range 15, so it's going to be armor penetration of 10. Oh, we got to roll for location. Ow. Poop. I forgot how to roll for location. It has been so long since I've done anything with vehicles. Let's see. Okay, melee table. I know what's on here. Hit location table. Where is it? All right, so it's not a turreted vehicle. So we roll. It's a 9. It's going to be lower hull. It's going to be lower hull front, which is an 11. And it's, what did we say the penetration was? 10? 57A is a 10. So that's a -1. So I probably shouldn't have even shot at all. Because the round just go patang right off the hull. Oh, no, there is an actual chance. K-kill table actually goes down to -1. I need to roll a 1 for a possible kill. It's a 5, no possible kill. Yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, well. Because it's just a 1 in 10 chance. Let's go ahead and clone that and drag that over there. And reduce the rate of fire. Okay. He's still got 1 rate of fire. He may blast away. Oh, but that does put a does to put a bot on him. I'll go ahead, oops. Put a bot on him. See, now the observer has something that he can see so that he can shoot at. Excuse me. Okay, so back around to the German turn. What do the Germans want to do? I could do direct fire from here, from this mortar. If I can see him. Let's see what we got. Oh, sorry you got to go so quick, Chris. I'll see you later. Appreciate you dropping by. Oops, come on. I always do that. Let's see. So, slope-wise, it's good slope-wise. It's got the woods that it's going to clip, but range of 10, that's only like a 2 blind hex. So yeah, that mortar can see. The question is, do I want to open up with it already? Yeah, let's go ahead and fire with them. So it's a D-class weapon. Clone. So the mortar is going to fire at the gun pit. D-class weapon, range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hexes. D-class at range 10 is going to be a 4. Let's see. Okay. Obscuring. Onboard firing smoke. I could have swore that there was something for target size modifier, terrain cover state, obscuring terrain. Could have swore that there was something for. Oh, I guess that's smoke. Onboard firing smoke is a -2 because you're just firing at the hex. So all right, it's gonna be a 4, and it is in a weapons pit, which I believe is good cover. Might actually be improved. See, if I played this game more, I'd be able to remember these things a little bit better. That's improved, which is +2, so 4, 3, 2. Wow. And that guy doesn't have rate of fire, does he? Nope. And no leaders. 6, nothing. But again, we're just throwing bot markers out there left and right, aren't we? Of course, now everybody knows. Now everybody's starting to see where everybody else is at. So that means that heavy machine gun could open at 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, no, he couldn't. Line of sight, 1 hex, but then there's the second hex that's the same level, so that would cause the pancake effect there. So he can't see down. Now, had this been a hillock, he'd have been able to see down, but it's not. So the Soviets need to decide what they want to do next. Yeah, since we saw how bad the 57 did at range, yeah, 45 is not going to do. I think the Soviets are going to pass, which brings it back to the Germans. Let's see. And let's go ahead and crawl these guys up here, just because I realized I didn't like them back there. And yeah, that's there. Everybody's going to be too far away. They're not going to be able to see. None of the Soviets are going to be able to see that. So he gets up there with no problem. Soviets. That's the thing when you're playing the defender, especially in these opening stages. They do a lot of passing. Pass, 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 pass. Hey, we're up to 8 people now. Again, everybody, welcome. Glad you could make it. Say hi. That's all I can say is let us know who you are. I appreciate knowing who is silly enough to be watching me bumble through this gameplay. All right, so we're back to the Germans. I think we're back, yeah, because the Soviets passed. They got nothing they want to do. Back to the Germans. I could fire that Gewehr, that mortar at those. Actually, I don't think I can because of the pancaking effect. Can't see anybody. All right, well, it looks like pretty much the only thing the Germans have got left is they can bring on their Tigers, because they get 2 of their Tigers from Schwerpanzer Abteilung 502 on turn 1. I don't think we're going to do that yet. And let's see, what's the range on the 45? Oh, yeah, they don't have ranges for that because it's pretty much everywhere as long as there's line of sight. All right, since I'm going to gamble, because I haven't really bothered to check it too much, and say that my guys are out of line of sight, I'm going to go ahead and start moving these guys up. So, and unlike what I did before by moving them 1 hex at a time, 1 unit at a time, since I don't think I'm going to be getting shot at, I may, but I'm not trying to interfere with the meta of playing the Soviets and Germans. I'm just going to go ahead and do platoon movement and move the entire hex. So that's going to be 1. And pancaking still, he can't still see him because he's 1 hex back. And lots of pancaking from here, and it's going to be a lot of pancaking there as well. So 1, 2. Now we might have this hillock here will eliminate this as part of the pancaking effect for the hills. So, but even here, this 2nd hex here would stop it and would have the pancaking effect. So we're still good there. So that 45 can't see that. Oh, flamethrower. I like playing with flamethrower. So that's 2, 3. Still pretty sure. Yeah, no line of sight. So that's 3, 4. This might be. Nope, that's going to be cutting along those 3 hexes. Let's see, rough estimate. That 45 might be able to see there. You know what? Let's go ahead and check it. Let's go ahead and check to see if we got line of sight with that 45. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Doesn't matter. They're still out of range. They're infantry moving in the open. That's visibility of 10 hexes, so out of range. So they don't have to worry about getting shot there. Let's see, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really? Leaders give +2. Glad you can make it. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name from France. I apologize, my European. I can speak German, but that's about it. So I have a very hard time. Dr. Rushan and JTM, glad to see you again, JTM. Glad you can make it again. Oh, can't see him at this location. So that's going to be it for that movement. Basically, the 45 can't see him back here because you got the 1 hex and then you've got a 2nd hex at the same level. So that's going to kick in the pancake effect. So that's going to block line of sight there. So the Soviets, again, we've got this little saddleback right here that really prevents, you know, this line from being able to see. Because we got here, okay, this guy right here at 5, 4, 3, 4, 4. Yeah, even he got no line of sight. Yeah, it's that saddleback. Now, if I was moving guys up here on the saddleback, then yeah, they'll probably be able to unload all holy hell. But as it stands, they can't. So Soviets aren't going to do anything. Back to the Germans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just keep the same movement as we did before. Because we know it's already safe. The Soviets, again, still not going to do anything. I wonder if I should shift this guy over. Nah, they're good right there. I Well, let's see. Those guys there. I need to start thinking about how I want to shore up my line over here with the Soviets. And I think these guys will eventually go to here. You know what? Let's go ahead and move these guys. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave them there. And Germans can't see it because they're in the hedgehog. Not that they're down in the hedgehog, but they're far enough back. All right, so that'll be the Soviets. I suppose, well, no, because that's a 57. I could take the 57 and swing it over this way and take a pot shot at that Stu H, or even fire at the infantry, because next turn I will kick in the height adding to the spotting range. Figure since for the first turn, since I messed it up, since Scott was so kind to point that out to me. See, that's one thing. I can always rely on Scott to always point out what I'm doing wrong, because the man knows the game system inside and out. If you have questions, go to the ATS Facebook, put it up there. More than likely, Scott's going to be the one that's going to answer for it, and we appreciate that, Scott. But again, even at that range, I'm only going to be... oops, am I still streaming? Okay. I hope I'm still streaming. Okay. I get these weird pop-ups on my tablet, and it's like, is it still working? But my light on my camera's still on, so I'm assuming I am. Okay, so where we are, back to the German side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, these guys should be marked with assault. 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 Oops. Assault. Back to the Soviet side. Again, it's just waiting for the Germans to get up closer. So back to the Germans, slide him up to there. Mark him with assault. That's a 45. What have I got here? I think I got I got an 85 right there. Those Stugs point their head out anywhere over here. That 85 is going to munch it for breakfast. Back to the Soviets. Again, not really doing anything. All right, now back to the German. Now we have a potential, because I remember I had these 2 machine guns, and I wanted to get them further forward to be able to set up a fire base to put in some Overwatch fire. So let's go ahead and start with this guy. 1... Let's check the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So that basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So that basically is the hex row where these guys can be able to spot them at 10 hexes. And since they are on this side of the saddleback, it is going to make it a little bit easier for the German or for the Russians to spot them. However, that 85 is going to be cutting through a couple levels, so that pancake effect is going to kick in. Same there. We move here, though. Right there, we're going to start having some issues, because now that's on a level 5, and that's all lower. There is no, that 85 can now see those guys moving up through the hedge. Now, am I going to fire that 85 right now? No. I mean, granted, it's an 85, and what's the column on the 85? 85B. What's the infantry fire value? That's a 20 column. It's a hefty firepower. However, it's also one of the biggest guns I've got, and I need that for anti-tank work, so we're not going to be shooting that yet. The mortar can't op fire, and those guys are way out of range. You know, conscripts with Mozon Na got probably 37s. All right, so he's going to move up to there and be finished. Now, since they're finished with movement, and the mortar couldn't op fire, the mortar can actually now just do as a regular fire. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be like a 4. It's going to be like a 3 to hit. Do I really want to expose myself this early? No, not yet. We're not going to fire with that mortar. Not yet. So Soviets will pass. Flip back over to the Germans. Well, the Germans will just slide up to here. That's... I probably should have thought that out a little bit better. Because with the pancake, I can't see anything past the MM17, but MM18 along here, I can. Yeah, as long as my line of sight doesn't cut through MM17, because that's one hex, and then there's the second hex that's the same level, so that'll kick the pancake effect in. So basically, yeah, they're gonna. Could always try to rush them up to those shells. Well, or I could just say screw it and move them up into here. Of course, that'll make a very tasty target for the Soviets. 2 medium machine guns in the same stack. That'll be a stack of death, definitely. That'd be, what's 16 on the firepower table with a rate of fire 3 on each weapon. Durka, durka, durka. It's always so fun to get those really high attacks when you're rolling a 36 column. Woohoo! I remember one time I was doing some playtesting for Andre Garello's module CSI, his first CSIR, Nekatavika, and I managed to get an Italian stack at a firepower like 32, 36, something unbelievably god awful high like that, and was firing at a Mason building, so so +3 on the dice roll. And I rolled first turn, rolled a 10. Great. Second turn, rolled a 10 again. Third turn, rolled a 9. So yeah, the Soviets were sitting in this Mason building just kind of shooting at or laughing at the ineptitude of the Italian shooting. All right, so that's that. Soviets, again, the Soviets really, the biggest thing they could probably do is the mortar. I've got a 76 that's pointing out off this direction. The 76 could probably see that. But again, we want to save the 76 to fire. Ooh, now that's something I never noticed before. That 76 has a smoke exponent on it. See that little green S that's on there? It can fire smoke. I didn't know the Soviet anti-tank guns could fire smoke. That's something I'll have to consider. So yeah, I guess the Soviets are going to intern. So now the Germans, I'm not going to bring the Tigers on yet. But I do have these Gewehr. You know what? I am going to do that. Like I said earlier, I'm going to take this guy. They're going to crawl down to here. And they're going to let these guys stay up here and act as a spotter for him. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and sneak those guys down there. And too far away for anybody to see them, so it's kind of safe in there. And that'll put them back a little bit. It'll put them one level down, plus they're in the woods. So these guys will fire, and these guys are going to be the ones that's going to spot for them. So there's that. Soviets, again, not doing anything. Germans. I don't know what I was thinking when I put those Germans there. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, he could see them. Maybe not right in that hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, can't see him yet. Or have the potential. I haven't drawn line of sight to figure out pancaking or anything like that. So go 1, 2, 3, but that will possibly open up the forward observer to be able to see him, and that would be a lovely place to drop artillery right there in that little wide gully, moving up to the real narrow gully. And I'm sure the Soviets would love to be able to drop artillery on that hex. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys will go 1, 2, and just, or actually they can't yet. Soviet turn, Soviets not doing anything. So German turn, move up 1 hex, fine. Back, Soviets not doing anything. All right, now we got the Stugs up here. We're just gonna do normal movement. We're not gonna do a cross country, so they got 6 movement points. And let's see, shell holes. I don't think shell holes interfere with. Let's see, shell hole. Oh, it is 2 movement points. Okay. Then we're going to go 1, 2, and again, since we saw the 57 firing earlier, 45 is not going to be able to do anything but just throw spitballs at it at that range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. If I move it to RR18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's still, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and move him there just because. Because we're betting that the Soviet player isn't going to fire at him at that range, because it would be even worse odds than the 57 had. Flips back over the Soviets' turn. Nothing. Germans, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yada, yada, yada. Done. Assault. Soviets, nothing. Now, the Germans have still got their 2 reinforcements, their 2 big boys that come on this turn. I think, just because, get to the Taiga tanks. We're gonna move the. We're gonna do something stupid and penny pack them, because we know I like to do stupid things like penny packing my attacking forces and usually get bit in the butt for it. Again, this is going to be assault movement. This is not going to be cross country, and they actually might get shot at. So, tanks, average visibility, vehicle, normal, 18 hexes. Okay. And one other thing I need to check real quick. Half movement for road. All right, so 18 hexes. We got a potential of this 57, and oh, that's 76. Now that 85 could swing over as well. So let's check basically what range we can even start seeing them at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to have to back the map out a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Since we're coming up the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, yeah, so they're going to be able to spot those tigers way back. Don't think I'd be able to get a good shot off with the 76. Now, he probably will. If I angle the shot down this way, then it'll remain a contiguous slope. We won't have the pancake effect there. And the 85, yeah, that's why I put the 85 up there, because this area right here is so nice that there's not much of a pancaking effect that happens. So those that 76 and that 85 can definitely reach out, but that 85 is going to have to swing. And we're not sure we want to do that. Anyway, so we got half 1, half 2, half 3, half 4, half 5. Now, does that 76 want to swing? Let's check. Well, let's take a look at what the odds are. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 hexes with a B-class weapon. Oh, you know what? I forgot. F-57 still has a rate of fire left. We're going to have to get back to that eventually. Granted, it's going to only be a 1 in 10 chance, but, you know, whatever. Still a 1 in 10 chance for a possible kill. Oh, what did we see there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Range of 12 with a B-class. It's going to be 6. Tiger's a large vehicle. Yeah, so it's going to be 7, but they're going to have to swing. Let's see. Change covered arc. Oh, 7, so it's going to be +3 to change the cover. 7, 6, 5, 4. You know what? I don't think I'm going to do that. because that actually honestly could trigger a gun duel with the tiger, and I don't want to get into a gun duel right now. So he's not going to fire. What I may do is during the infiltration phase, just wheel it during the infiltration phase. Anyways, all right, so we've got this 57 that I've been forgetting to put the second rate of fire into the Stu H. So it is a A-class weapon. It's at the 9 to 16. It's a 7. It's woods 6. Target size 5, burst on target 6, so we're looking at a 6 to hit. 4 hits, so where we hit, it's a 5, which is going to be probably lower hull again. Nope, that's upper hull, which is even worse, because the Stu H, oh, yeah, front upper, oh, see, that's actually even better. The upper hull of the Stu H is only a 10, where the lower hull is an 11, so it's a 10 on 10. So it's an even. Hey, Chris is back. Glad you're back, my friend. So it's actually even on the to kill chart. So yeah, we got a 1, 2, or 3. So let's go ahead and roll it. 5, nothing. Oh well. But the crew did have the. Oh yeah. Is it? Well, I think I said it was just +1 for the burst on target. I think, yeah, it's more than that. In ASL, it's +1. In ATS, it's +3. Regardless, I hit, but it has no effect on penetration. So, but it did let me know that if I hit it in the upper hull instead of the lower hull, it actually is a better shot of killing it in the upper hull. So we're probably going to keep putting shells into that there if whoever gets the shot off. Whoever gets a good enough shot off first. Well, the 57 is going to be hitting left and right. I think the Stu H just needs to hit once, and I'll probably end that gun. So we basically got one thing left. We got the last tiger. That's the other thing. I need to learn the commands. So, yeah, basically he's going to just follow right along there. Now, what I could do is I could probably, since I'm assault moving, they can still shoot, albeit at real shitty odds. I could swing now. I think, yeah, there's going to be a pancake effect there with those, depending on which one it clips. If the shot is more on this side, there's going to be a pancake effect. If it's on this side, there's not going to be the pancake effect. No, it's still going to be a pancake because that's the hillock, not that hex. Yes, this is the advanced to brick system. It's not ASL. Very easy to confuse the two systems. Honestly, the first time I ever saw an ATS box was in a game store 15 years ago, and it was a copy of Against All Odds. And back in the day, Critical Hit, the box sets, looked almost identical to the old school Avalon Hill boxes. So if you flip it over the back, if you know what the old Panzer Blitz, Panzer Leader, Arab-Israeli Wars, the back of those boxes looked like, it looked almost like an Avalon Hill game. And it had, 447 as the infantry. It's like, all right, that's a Soviet, and it's got, had some of the vehicle counters. And it's like, is this an ASL third-party product clone type thing? I actually had to go home and look on the internet because an advanced to brick system. I knew the original to brick system from back in the day that Hal had originally done back in the 70s because I've got a copy of it. But I'd never heard of the advanced to brick system. Went home, checked on the internet, and lo and behold, it's a totally complete new system. So the next day I went down and bought it. That was my first foray into the advanced to brick system. But it's very easy to get ATS and ASL confused. I mean, if you're just glancing at the counters, they're virtually identical. The maps are identical in most cases. So yes, this is ATS. Sorry for my little diatribe there. So these guys get marked assault. I should have marked that with assault. All right, so we're basically done with fire and movement. It's taking much longer than I thought. Of course, technical difficulties there, so that might have had an effect, might have had something to do with it. So then we're into the infiltration phase. Roll for infiltration. Soviets red, Germans black, so Germans get to go first. And basically in the infiltration, it's all grenade attacks and sneaky up. So we're just going to go ahead, infiltrate, 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 because we're not going to have any grenade attacks. Infiltrate. Infiltrate. I'm fairly certain guns can infiltrate, and I'm sure Scott's going to yell at me, but I'm just going to go ahead and infiltrate this by swinging. Oops. I know my clockwise from counterclockwise. Honest. So that 76 is going to infiltrate the swing over there so it can start shooting at the Tigers. Infiltrate. Yes, that observer is going to have a... I'm fairly certain. I'll check it next time, but I'm fairly certain now that observer can see right down into that gully. Soviet infiltrate. What's now? They already infiltrated. Next infiltrate. Well, since it's not going to have an effect, I'm just going to go ahead and do, I believe, that's all the German infiltrate. Now there's something. I could pull these guys back, infiltrate them back. Of course, I don't think the Stu H is going to fire at that machine gun. I think the Stu H is going to be more worried about the 57, so they're going to stay there in those shell holes. Those guys are all happy. What I may do next, and I probably should have thought about this, is these guys. I should probably start shifting over. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do that now. I'll go ahead and infiltrate there. I believe that's all the infiltration I have. And then in phase, which we really don't have much of anything to do with the in phase. And there we go. Took a little over an hour due to technical difficulties to get through one turn, and you know, a couple minor rules hiccups that we're going to have to make sure we implement into the next turn. When I find out if I do a rules mistake, I at least finish off the turn, just so both sides aren't harmed or receive undue benefit from it until the next turn. So I think that's all we're gonna have for today. I think what I'm gonna do is I might play a turn or two during the week, because I know with the East Coast and European viewers, sometimes hard in the middle of the week, especially when you have to go to bed so early to get up for work the next day. I mean, I could do it at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon during the week, but that'll kind of screw over my West Coast and Mountain viewers. So I'm still trying to figure out if I want to punish the East Coast guys by forcing them to watch late in the evening, 7, 8, 9, or if I want to punish the West Coast Mountain guys by having it really early in the day while they're still at work. Regardless, I think I'll just probably do a video shoot on my own, not live stream it at least once during this week, or just wait until next Friday evening. I'm probably going to want to try to do this Fridays and Sundays from here on out, just because that seems to be the best time. Fridays I can do it a little bit later in the evening. East Coast guys aren't worried about, they can stay up a little bit later, and I'll let the West Coast guys get home. And then Sundays, nobody's doing anything on Sundays. Of course, yeah, my Pacific and European viewers, sorry, there's not much I can really do about you. You guys are way out of the way time zone wise, and I do apologize about that. But it's the Earth. What can I do? Thank you, Bowden. Glad that you were able to make it. And yeah, I will definitely I will give at least 24 hours notice. I'll post it both on the Original Grognard and the Advanced Tobruk System Facebook pages at least 24 hours in advance. I don't want to do like what Kevin does and just kind of pop it on everybody. Now, the good thing about Kevin is Kevin does them all the time, so throughout the week you've got a good chance of catching one or two of his. But since I'm only going to be doing once or twice a week, Didn't realize how dry my throat was getting. I definitely will give advance warning to everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed. Scott, I'm sure you're going to be sending me a message saying what I did. Oh, one thing. Last video, I commented on the smoke grenade exponent. I said that it was 1 grenade for every 3 stacking points. That's wrong. It's 1 grenade for the Germans. Anyone? It's 1 grenade for every 9 stacking points. So basically 3 squads. And the British and the Americans, it's for every 6 stacking points. So every 2 squads. Again, not that really big of an issue in this game because the smoke grenades on both sides are set by scenario special rule. But I did want to say that, yes, I did catch that one because when I was reading through the rules later in the evening, I realized, oopsie, and went back and I changed it on mentioned it on the Facebook post. Most of you probably saw it. But those of you who didn't, there you go. So, wow. I think this is the longest video I've ever done. I'm exhausted. Appreciate everybody coming in. 10 people. I think we had 12 people watching it at one point. Dr. Rushan. Well, midnight's not too bad. And yes, I will be making more videos. Hey, Itinerant. Glad you could make it. It's late there. Where are you? Anyway, I thought you were more East Coast. And 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not too late. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. And I will see everybody next time. Where's my button at? See ya.